Hi, this is Bonnie again, and if you remember with my last video, I showed you how to make tie-dyed paper just using cardstock and some of Sherri Baldy's pigment ink, or pigment powder, sorry. And today I'm going to show you why I made this and what we're going to make with it. This is a card we're going to be putting together. The pieces are just laid out, they're not glued down. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've done so far so that it makes some sense. First of all, though, I want to share with you a brand new released image. It was released just last week by the time this airs. And so currently I do not have the link to this, but I will have the link up above scrolling across the top so you can actually click on the link and actually get this image. It's super cute, and you will love coloring this up. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you what I've done so far so you can create this card yourself. First of all, I made a card base, and it really doesn't matter how big you make it, because however big you make it will be based upon what you put on it, if that makes sense. If you want to know what I did, this card measures, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 5 by 5.5. I think that's correct. I think I just folded a piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11 paper in half, and then cut it so that it was almost 5 inches long. So because you also are going to be basing it on the piece of paper that you made, you want to make sure whatever paper you use is going to be able to fit at least 3/4 on your card base. So I wanted to mat my paper, and I'm going to show you something that's going to kind of shock you. Yeah, I needed this purple paper for the top of my card, so I was able to cut it out, and it's kind of a tip in a way, so that you can use all your paper and not be just having it set underneath. So anyway, this is going to be what my tie-dye is going to be matted to, and that is going to go down first. But before I can do any of this, I have got to show you what we do here. Remember, this is a paper I made and it had that little bit of a hole. It's not going to matter for what we're going to do. Plus, even if it did, it's kind of cool. First thing I did, seeing as it's already done, is I put 2 eyelets, if you can see that, 2 eyelets, just like a Converse shoe, tennis shoe would have on it. And I also made a strip. And I used, these right here were just from a tag die that I had. And I hole punched straight away through that. I hole punched through this and through the mat. And the reason for that is because I am going to be stringing this, my eyelets with ribbon to make it look like shoelaces. And I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that totally for you filming, because it does take a while and you don't need to sit here and watch me try to thread ribbon through several layers. I will do one just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Oh, but before I can do that, I do have to tape this one down. So this paper will probably pull up if I use my ATG gun, just to let you know, because it's already been kind of torn up. So I am going to be using this double-sided tape instead, just because I know when I have paper like this, it tends to pull up with ATG tape. So quite another tip for you when you are redoing paper. So the construction of this is kind of tricky. Not really, it doesn't look really hard. It's just basic rectangles and adding, you can even see it doesn't want to stick for me really great. Just to start. There we go. So it's kind of a basic construction really, but how you put it together so that the ribbon, well, at least for me, how the ribbon will go underneath, that is the shoelaces. I try to do something a little bit different. So that's how this is going to go. I've already cut the holes like I told you. You can see them right there. And I just have to basically line those up. So I can do that. Here we go. Trying to see. I can't see underneath the black, so let me put it back on top of the white. There we go. Okay, so I've got those all lined up. And normally I would do this once I've taped it down. I wouldn't do this separately. I would actually tape this down and then I would hole punch it. But because I was trying to show you what I did without putting it together first, I hole punched them without taping it down. So basically string that through this part right here. Come back to these holes that are on your card base or your matted tie-dye paper, and you string it through there too. And again, I'm sorry you have to sit there and watch me pull that through. But anyway, so we've got that through. I'm going to pull that all the way down. Oh, I have also double taped that down too so it'll stick up a bit. But just to get this going, I know it seems confusing, it really isn't, I promise. You want to bring this to the back side and just simply tape that down with regular Scotch tape. And then what you're going to be doing is pulling this to the right position, and then you're going to be taping this over the back side. That little bit right there will be taped to the back side. And actually I could probably pull that a little bit further because I need a little bit more, which is not a problem. And this is what happens when you do things and you haven't done it ahead of time. I have made one of these, just not one taping. So just need a little bit of that. I should have added more ribbon so I could have showed you quicker. And then this will be going through like that and over. And that's how that's going to look. And I'm going to do all three of those lined up. And that's going to go on top of here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop a minute and put all three of these ribbons in, and I'm going to come right back. Okay, so I'm back and I've got those three strung through and taped to the back like I showed you. And the next thing that I need is the tread for the tennis shoe. And what I do is I cut a strip and I put it through a embossing folder. This one happens to be a WeAre3, and it works really well, as you can see, for the treads. And I actually try to line it up. There's actually a line in here. So I try to line up the line so that I could put this little piece that goes across the top. But anyway, let me tell you something. A little thing I found out the second card I made. The first card I made it so that this white piece actually matched up with the size. But when I ran it through the embossing folder, it shrunk it slightly. So I decided this time around that I was going to emboss it first and then cut the side. And so that's this right here. I know this drives my friends crazy when I don't really measure. This one's a little bit, I have to cut it out straighter. But that's what I do. And that's going to go right there on top. And because there's a little bit of bulk to this, I'm going to use my foam tape to make it raised up. And plus, with a shoe anyway, it actually would be raised up slightly, wouldn't it? So that's the tread, and that goes on next. And then I'm going to be putting this little, like I said, it looks like a little paint strip whenever you buy a, whoops, sorry, can't even see that part. It looks like a little paint strip at the top of your Converse. It always matches the color of your shoe. Who knew that detail? I guess I did, but I just don't think of it when I make a card. But I thought it was a really neat idea. I did see a card very similar to this on Pinterest and just decided to make my own version, which is very similar to theirs. They made one that was red, and I've got a similar to one to that I will share with you at the end of the video. But anyway, that's how the tread will go on. And this piece, I have to trim that up too, will go right here just like that painted stripe. And I will probably use my 1/8 of an inch tape so that it stays on to the embossing. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the rest of the embellishments with my bear and my stars. All right, so I've added the painting type strip along the bottom with 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. I've also put double-sided tape on both of these stars, and they are attached to the card. The next thing I'm going to do is add my image, and I put double-sided tape on the back of my image so it will be raised up just slightly, and it's going to go basically right there. And then I've got 2 glitter stars because, as I told you in my first video, my granddaughter absolutely loves purple and pink, and so I found some really pretty pink sparkly paper, and it's going to go on just like that. So that's basically the construction of the card. You can probably change anything out to give it a little bit more embellishments if you want. This is basically what I was going to share with you today, and I hope that that encourages you to try the tie-dye technique and think of other things you can do with it. I thought it was really super fun project, and I hope you give it a try. Also, like I said at the end, I'm going to show you, I did a red, just a plain red shoe for a boy. So hope to see you next time. Don't forget to watch again. We will have, our design team has a lot more to offer for you, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you.